I'm now joined by the man who has a chance to recapture middleweight gold this weekend at UFC 221. He is going for the interim title against Yoel Romero. So, Luke, it's good to have you on the show. You're out in Australia. So it seems like you've developed a really good relationship with Greg Jones. I saw him and Bob Cook, as well as Javier Mendez, are down there with you in Perth. Are they going to be in your corner this weekend? And what sort of relationship have your coaches in Florida and the ones in California had?
Everyone's tight. Everyone's getting more and more used to each other. I got a great team, man. I love my coaches back home, and I love my coaches here. So my team, we all are working seamlessly together. Everyone complements nicely. We got Greg is here with me now. Bob Cook and Javier Mendez and Henry Huff's on the way. Yeah, his little sickness, and he's falling behind schedule, but he'll be in shortly. Cormier is another coach of mine. So everyone's been great together.
It's interesting that people try criticizing you for training in Florida, and then George St. Pierre has kind of a dream corner like you have this weekend, and everybody's applauding it. So kudos to you. I think that kind of corner is basically an all-star corner to have.
I appreciate it. Someone sees the right side of it. Back in the day, people would jump and change camps and do what they needed to do, and then to build upon the repertoire and their game. And now one stupid Conor McGregor comment has driven everybody away to this disloyalty, snake in the grass bullshit. It's just stupid. People need to wake up and learn.
Yeah, just to be clear,
Open your eyes.
Yeah, you're still a member of AKA, but you're going out to Florida to polish your skills, add more skills to the repertoire, and basically just grow your camp. That's all, right?
Yeah, I'll be out there for the most part in Florida, but I'll always go back to AKA and be able to train full and help different guys. So it's I'm always moving. I'm always growing.
Another guy who trains in Florida is your opponent, Yoel Romero. He's never been finished in the UFC. Does that give you motivation to be the first person to do it?
I'm motivated to do things that no one's done. I always am. It doesn't matter the circumstance. I believe in myself to do different things. I don't think many people have the capability that I have. Yoel's a finisher himself. I'm a finisher. Very few of our fights have ever gone the distance, and so I'm ready to fight and give it my all.
During the last couple of years, we've seen the whole Bisping and GSP logjam that was created in the middleweight division. Weidman fought 3 times, Jacare 3 times. Gegard Mousasi ended up leaving. So the middleweight division has been really shaken up. You've mentioned yourself, Romero, and Whitaker have kind of separated from the pack. Were you picky about which fights you were going to take during, I guess, the whole thing that was going on with Bisping and GSP because you wanted to see how the division would shake out?
Of course. Why would I waste my time fighting the best guys in the world while these guys are just tying up the division and holding that leverage, that gold, that gives you power. I'm not going to go fight just fights for no reason. I'm not going to go fight the best guys in the world without getting championship fights for championship money. That makes no sense. Why should the best guys fight each other while 2 chumps are fighting each other for middleweight gold? And it just makes no sense. So I waited for the right opportunities, and now we are where we are. We finally have ironed things out, and we're back on track.
And during that time, was it kind of tough to get out of bed and train knowing that a title shot wasn't on the horizon because the division was tied up in that manner?
Yeah, there's that. There's negotiating with the UFC and not getting, them trying to lowball you and trying to get you to do their bidding, which is not what I do. I've put my time in this game, and I'm going to get what I'm worth and what I deserve.
And it looks like fights similar to GSP and Bisping are starting to be discussed in this, I guess, new Endeavor era. Woodley versus Nate Diaz is one that's been discussed. All these champion versus champion fights. Like your teammate DC has with
champion
Stipe.
Champion versus champion. Yeah.
Yeah, just I guess fights that are more for high entertainment.
Nate's a legend, but he's not a champion.
Right. DC's earned his stripes, and we've seen what he can do at heavyweight. But what do you think of this sort of approach?
I think it's very WME. I think it's an entertainment approach. I think they are thinking singularly. They don't think about they think about the repercussions of once you put these fights together, and what's to happen. Things fall apart. You gotta keep a recipe. So I think they're straying from the planning a little bit. You gotta, when those fights work their way to the surface, that maybe they should happen, but they're forcing fights to make paydays and to pay off a debt. So I'm not a huge fan of it. It's at times it's necessary, but they're reaching.
So I spoke with my colleague Robin Black. I heard him discuss how you do such a great job of maximizing your energy during fights, that you're a step ahead of your opponents, I guess, in the second, third, and fourth round. In the Branch fight, you had a tough first round. You bounced back in a big way in the second. From your experience sparring with people and looking at the clock and seeing where you're at during a fight, what round do you think you're at your absolute best?
Depending on how the fight goes, of course. But I've always gained momentum, and as the fight goes on, I get a read from my opponent. I start to loosen up. I start to open up. I usually finish guys before I get to that point because my game is, I can shut them down. I'm not going to let them last longer than I have to. It just depends on who I fight, if they're capable to get to that point.
I feel like you have some traps set for Yoel. From what I've been hearing from you this past week, it seems like you've got something on your mind that you think is going to be very successful for you.
I've got a lot of things on my mind with Yoel. Yoel's, he's a crazy fighter. He's a wild fighter. He's a powerful guy. He has his athleticism. He isn't fought people that are as fast as me, as athletic as me, and have that technique to beat him to every spot. All these guys he's fought, they're limited in so many ways. And so I plan on opening up.
So usually champions, they're upset when the interim title is introduced, but Robert Whittaker seems to be really embracing it, is looking forward to watching you and Yoel fight. Is that a refreshing outlook to hear from a champion?
Of course Robert Whittaker is looking forward to fighting. I mean, he's taking one of us out of the way. So, now I think Robert's he's a true contender, true champion. I mean, the guy is he's a true fighter, and he wants to test his mettle just like the rest of us. So that's what it's all about. Testing yourself against the best guys in the world. We push ourselves to that place, and I'm excited to clash with Yoel, and I'm sure he's ready to get back and take us on.
And finally, I'll wrap up on this. You mentioned that yourself, Whittaker, and Yoel are kind of the top tier right now that have separated from the rest of the division. Both Jacques Cormier and Kelvin Gastelum seem disappointed that they didn't get the shot at you or a shot at Whittaker. What takes those two out of the conversation for being in that top tier at middleweight, in your opinion?
I don't know what they've done. What have they done lately? I mean, the kid, from what I understand, he wouldn't. I don't know who. Jacare just lost to Whittaker pretty badly, and he just doesn't. It feels like he's slowing down. It feels like he's getting a little stiff, a little older. I mean, he's Jacare is a gangster. He's been in the game for a long time. A guy like Kelvin Gastelum, he's done nothing. I mean, it's about when you beat these guys. It's about timing. It's about when you beat these guys. He beat Bisping off when Bisping dramatically aged in the last couple of years, and he came off a knockout 2 weeks before he fought Kelvin. So it's like you're fighting a guy at half mass, and you're fighting, Vitor Belfort after the steroid era, and the downfall he's had. The guy's got no case. He's done nothing, and so I mean, Jacare, they want to prove it themselves. They fight each other.
All right, Luke. Well, always appreciate your insight on the sport. Sorry, go ahead.
I've beaten Jacare too. Said I've beaten Jacare too, in his prime.
Yeah, I remember back in the Strikeforce days.
yeah, in my infancy.
Mm-hmm.
I was born.
Well, Luke, it's great having you on the show. Always appreciate your insight, and good luck this weekend, UFC 221, at recapturing middleweight gold.
Thank you.